So it's been pointed out to me in Jaren's latest video that he believes my mount was an equatorial mount. Now that's actually not true, mate. It's not an equatorial mount at all. It's an alt-azimuth mount. Now I'll just play your video, Jaren. To the geometry of this camera, okay?
Again, I'm not saying that Wolfie is wrong. If what he is saying is true, then he will easily show it from the spinning ball. So I look forward to that. I admit that I have questions, especially regarding the equatorial mount that was used. Let's see if I can find any information that should worry us about this equatorial mount.
Well, I can assure you, Jaren, there is no information that should worry you about the equatorial mount because the mount I was using was not an equatorial mount. It was an alt-azimuth mount, which is quite different. But that's okay. When I get home, I actually have another alt-azimuth mount. I've actually got two alt-azimuth mounts. One is the portable one, which I used for my experiment. I've got another one at home, which you'll see very shortly. And I've also got an equatorial mount. And the operation is quite different. And I will produce a video explaining that very clearly for you. Now what I'm going to show you after this video is just some earlier footage I took on my phone, which I never posted publicly. I just decided there was really no point, but I'm glad I've got it now because it's going to show you very clearly another alt-azimuth mount that can actually be configured as an equatorial mount too. So hopefully when you see that video, you'll understand the difference. So I've had so much fun this week with my telescope that I decided to get a portable one. This is a much smaller unit. It's the Nexstar 4SE, and it's also a computerized go-to scope, which means you can program in coordinates there and it'll go straight to the object you're trying to view, and then it will track using a sidereal rate of tracking. Now, it's what's called an alt-azimuth mount. It's not an equatorial mount as it stands now, but this particular unit can have this main body tilted so it does become an equatorial mount as well, and I'll show you that shortly. But the main reason I got this is because it's portable. I can remove the telescope and I can fit that L bracket, and once I do that I can put a video camera or a digital SLR. I had the P900 on it last night and it was holding very nice and steady on Saturn. It's battery powered, and that was going for more than 8 hours last night on a single charge of battery, so really convenient, light and easily transportable. I'll just stop there and show you how the equatorial mount works. And the advantage of an alt-azimuth mount is that when you're looking at objects on the ground, just for terrestrial viewing, the eyepiece is always upwards, okay, because the telescope just basically pans left and right and up and down. It doesn't rotate like that when it's being used equatorially. So this is the benefit of this little unit. It can be used as an alt-azimuth mount and also as an equatorial mount, which I'll show you shortly. So there it is configured as an equatorial mount. You just nominate the latitude, set it up. You'd obviously have to fine tune it, and once it's done like that and polar aligned, you can track objects just with a single axis, which is obviously better for tracking objects in the sky and long exposure photography, but not so good when you're just looking at objects on the ground, because as the mount turns around, the horizon is going to tilt one way or another. So good for viewing objects in the sky in the equatorial mode, and great for viewing objects on the ground in the alt-azimuth mode. I'll show you now video taken with the P900 using this mount last night.